Greetings and salutations, everybody. Welcome to episode 308 of the Hoots podcast. The road to 500 continues. Here it is May 5th, 2022. Happy Cinco de Mayo for those who choose to celebrate it today. Get your freak on, get the good food as well. Can't go wrong with the food, right?
I mean, it is one of my four food groups. I will say that Mexican food is one of my four food groups. But yeah.
So happy Cinco de Mayo. A lot of crazy stuff going on this week, especially in my world as well. But especially a lot going on in wrestling this week.
Oof.
World of professional wrestling never seems to slow down, and it's good. It's good. Very fortunate the fact that you can make a living off of professional wrestling. No.
Oh,
But you're not here for that. This is your weekly escape of nonsense and debates and social media rhetoric. It is known as the Hoots Podcast. I am yours truly, the nefarious brother Adam, aka Joshie Lopez. You can follow me now on Twitter and Instagram at Josh Lopez Media. I made that change easy so you guys can find me easier that way. Also, if you want to see me do some guitar covers on Instagram, make sure to check out at Josh Lopez Music. You guys know how much music means to me, so I still try my best to keep up with my guitar playing, even though I covered 20 wrestling shows a week. We're getting a full. You guys are getting a full length edition. You see, I'm not alone on the screen. John Cena's not here. We do have somebody in the screen here. Let's bring in the yang to my yang, the good brother of all good brothers, the director of operations himself, Brother Carter, Derek Stoughton. What's going on, my man?
welcome, one and all to the sick. Wait, that's not right. We live and in living color this week, baby. We back. Oh, baby, we back. This has been the first show since episode 300. So thrilled to be back, man. It's, I'm on my summer vacation now. So I'm having the opportunity to be back. And, during the summer times, if you've been listening to the podcast for any length of time, I tend to be on more often during the summer months because I have a little more time and able to spend time with the good brother of all good brothers, the nefarious brother Adam. But your boy, the man, the myth, the legend, the people's choice, people's champ, the best of all time, is in living color. He's in the house. The director of operations, the scribe of... Wait, no, you're the scribe. I'm Sir Jericho. This is my kingdom. I am the director of operations, and I'm glad to be back with you, brother. Let's have some fun today.
I'm about to close up another trip around the sun, if you will.
How so?
With this life coming up on Saturday. I'm turning 28 this year.
Hey.
So it's gonna be a fun birthday weekend. I want to give a shout out really quick to my cousin Vincent, my newest cousin Michelle. They are getting married tomorrow. So celebrate some time with them. We got Mother's Day coming up on Sunday as well. Just a lot of crazy things at birthdays times.
Hold on, Josh. Hold on just a minute here. Hopefully this will work.
Bring your friends for
That's
free.
not what I want. Hold on just a minute.
With free
Just a minute.
tickets for friends
Sorry,
on
that's
sale
an
now.
ad. We don't want that. Hold on. Here we go.
Happy birthday to you.
Okay, this is kind of a weird version,
Happy birthday to you.
but we're gonna play it anyway.
Happy birthday to
Joshie.
Happy birthday to you.
Yay! All right. Sorry.
Thank you, Brother Carter. I
Go
was
ahead.
picking up because I need to ask a question. Am I due for a performance evaluation?
Oh, you're absolutely due for a performance evaluation today. I will be watching closely. I have my clipboard handy. The clipboard that does also contain other items,
That's true.
including a list, which is always at the standby should it be necessary. Just saying.
Yeah. One thing with the list of Jericho, card is subject to change.
Well, the card is always subject to change with the list of Jericho. Especially, we're going to get into it later on in our main event segment because apparently now I have to add magic to the list of Jericho, which we'll get into a little bit later on.
Danny Magic.
I can't wait. I can't wait, Josh, for our segment. So let's keep it rolling because I want to get to this. I want to get to our main event segment. We got a big show today, Josh. We also have some predictions at the end of the show.
That's right.
It is WrestleMania Backlash weekend, so it should be a fun weekend.
Yes, I dubbed this episode the Royal Backlash.
Ah, very good.
So we'll get to those predictions in this week in WWE. Really quick before we get to the Q&A, because that's how we usually start out the show. There's a couple things I want to mention regarding the show. First off, subscribe to our podcast. Anywhere you get your podcast from. Type in the search engine on Google. Just type in the Hoots podcast. It'll drop you to every link you need to go to for your favorite podcasting platform of choice. So make sure to subscribe to the podcast. It would mean a lot to myself and Bert Carter. And I think in a couple weeks, not next week, but the week after that, I might be taking a week off from the Hoots podcast. I'm gonna convene with Bert Carter and the other good brothers and see how we could schedule that episode out for you guys. So I just want to give you guys a heads up for that. Even Joshie needs to slow down a bit. Slow down. It's fat. But we got a lot of fun stuff. So let's kick it off with the bangers we usually do with the Good Brothers Q&A session. As always, if you ever want to ask us a question, all you have to do is send us a question to @JoshLopezMedia or the Hoots Podcast @gmail.com. Let's start off with the good brother Chris Zaletta at XScene Zaletta 24X. Actually, Chris is going to Backlash on Sunday at the now hear this out Dunkin' Donuts Center in Providence, Rhode Island. The only references I had to Providence, Rhode Island is the Friendly Tap, which was a funny location bar for the old bar fights with the APA and the Attitude Era.
Oh yeah,
and shout out to referee Tim White. And the second reference to that is Flaky Waterfall from Oviedo, Florida, because that's actually your hometown. But that's here and there. Hopefully, we get some positive stuff from Providence, Rhode Island.
The only thing I know about Providence is I believe that was the home of Lloyd Christmas and Harry Dunn from Dumb and Dumber. I believe they were from Providence, Rhode Island. So
that's true.
There's that. Hey, Chris, if you want, and shout out to Chris, if you want to get a live report on WrestlingRumors.net, let me know. We'd love to get your feedback of what was like at the show. So hit me up on social media, and we'll see if we can make that happen.
All right. Let's hear what Chris has to say. First one, thoughts on the recent list of NXT cuts. Brother Carter, I know you're not able to catch up on NXT 2.0, but was this a news item that brushed your brain threshold recently?
It did. And, as we know, Josh, cuts are part of the business, and it's just the way it is. The one that surprised me was Dakota Kai, and I think that surprised a lot of people. I think she has a lot of talent, and I think that she has a lot of things going for it. It sounds like just creative had nothing for her, and she just requested a release, which I don't, fine. We certainly wish her all the best. The rest of them, I didn't really know much about those characters, but I did know a lot about Dakota Kai. So that was the one I was most surprised about, I think. And I'm sure that was the one that surprised a lot of people.
Yeah, it certainly surprised me too. I've been a big advocate for Dakota Kai for a long while. I thought she's, there's always these narratives and theories about NXT not being able to produce authentic homegrown talent, but I thought Dakota Kai herself was one of those exceptions to the rule.
Yep.
And I always enjoyed her work. I got to see her heel turn at the War Games in person when they had that whole NXT Raw SmackDown Survivor Series weekend. That was an awesome moment. I always enjoyed her work. Malcolm Bivens is another one to me. Just from an entertainment point of view, the guy is very entertaining, and I wouldn't say I have a personal relationship with Malcolm Bivens, but I had a chance to interview the former Stokely Hathaway a few years back on the Pro Wrestling Experience when he was with Ring of Honor. So I've just been very happy for his success and his journey in wrestling. And the guy is very entertaining, and I thought he did some good stuff on Diamond Mine. Like you said, cuts are cuts, and it's hard for me to really get emotionally upset or whatever when it comes to these releases. As part of the industry, I know that as myself as an independent contractor, nothing in this industry, especially professional wrestling, is linear or guaranteed. And I wish them nothing but the best. There's other ones that stood out, like Persia Parada, who was starting to get some more momentum in TV time. She had a little program with Indy Hartwell and Dexter Loomis. Again, Dexter Loomis is another one that was part of.
Oh, that's right. I forgot Dexter Loomis got cut. That one really surprised me too, because it sounds like he had quite a following. And he was doing some really great stuff with Indy Hartwell. And so I guess I wonder where that leaves Indy Hartwell as well.
Yeah, it's a great question. I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah, but you said, Josh, well, anything in the entertainment industry, like if unless you are the top of the top of the top of the top, it's not, nothing is ever really safe. So again, we wish them all the best. There's great places hopefully for all of them to land. And we certainly wish them all the best in their future endeavors.
Yes. Let's go to the next one for Chris here. He says, who will be in the NBA Finals this year? Lordy. Too bad I don't care for the NBA anymore.
I don't either. I don't really either.
If I had to take a guess, Chris, I'll go with a rematch from last year, Milwaukee and the Suns.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the field right now. I'm looking at the field. I kind of I like the idea of Milwaukee. Yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, Milwaukee's playing well. Golden State's playing well. Dallas has really been playing well lately. I mean, Luka's really starting to come into his own. So, yeah, I don't know either. I don't really follow the NBA that closely either. I just know that mega superstars are out and that big three teams are no longer a thing because the Brooklyn Nets are a complete dumpster fire. The LA Lakers are a complete dumpster fire. And everyone thought, oh, that's it. There's your finals now that we've got, you have KD with Kyrie and James Harden, but nope, Kyrie is a joke. James Harden can't come through in the playoffs. The LA Lakers are a disaster. And a lot of people say that when those teams aren't good, it's bad for basketball. But I don't follow it that closely, so I don't know. But but big three, that era is over.
Yeah. James Harden doesn't look like himself whatsoever. It's just not a good look. Let's see. Let's go to the next one here.
James Harden should shave his beard and say that he's his younger brother. Maybe he'll improve.
Oh, man.
He's Jim Harden now.
Who wants to hear Zeke speak?
Great.
All right. This one's for me. Satisfied with the Bears draft results. Again, the NFL draft is the ultimate crapshoot in professional sports. I can't tell you who's who from what's ass. And I don't keep that close of attention to college football to give you an expert opinion. I kind of defer to Bernard Carter from that point of view. But I talked about it last week. My main positions I wanted them to address at least was the secondary and the offensive line. And I think they did that in a good fashion. Again, I just don't know much about college football to say, oh, this is a A+ draft, or I saw Dan Orlovsky, what a clown. The other day, he was giving the team what he said this, a WTF fudge. So WT fudge instead of an F. Oh Lord. Yeah, so I just think it's so goofy, the draft grades and these proclamations that a team's a Super Bowl contender off their draft. Like, how the hell do you know?
Yeah, well, you say it every year. You never know who's going to make the transition well to the NFL. I mean, look at guys like George Kittle, who was picked in the fifth. I think he was picked in the 5th round.
Yeah.
Stephon Diggs, I think, was a late round pick too. But then you have guys like Cooper Kupp, who exploded this year. He was a 3rd round pick out of an FCS school out of Eastern Washington. So, right. But then you have guys like Baker Mayfield and Mitch Trubisky, and who they were top top 10 picks in the draft, and they've amounted to absolutely nothing. So you just never know who's going to make the transition well. The thing about this year's draft, this was a very, very defensive heavy draft. and wide receivers. This is the most wide receivers ever. And I think the explosion of wide receivers last year really helped with that. You know, when you had, again, Cooper Kupp with his explosions. You had Devontae Smith coming out of Alabama last year, making a name right away for the Eagles. By the way, watch out for the Eagles next year. They got a lot better on draft night when they got A.J. Brown, when they were to get A.J. Brown. So
cool it down there, Mr. Mr. Mitchell McNeil. Good, cool it down over there.
Hey, listen, I'm just saying. Listen.
Okay, I'm busting balls.
Hey, no, listen. You better. All right, that's -5 on your performance evaluation there, Lopez. You ain't coming. He ain't gonna come on here. And now I'm making my return to this show, and you ain't gonna come out of here and bash the director of operations for giving a fake. I know you think I'm Derek Kellerman or whatever, but I ain't coming out here.
I haven't got there yet. We're not at that point yet.
Okay, yeah. But yeah, so I think the Eagles, and I don't know if there's a question about overall NFL draft, but
there is one actually. Yeah.
Okay, well, we'll get to that in just a second.
Yeah. I'm just excited to see how the football season play out, like every football season. Like, I mean, just being realistic, it's not. I'm not putting my enjoyment for this upcoming season on whether or not the Bears are going to make the playoffs. They got a new GM, a new head coach. I feel like they have nothing to lose at this point. They need to build the foundation first before setting any expectations and stuff like that. So, next question. Yes. Which teams had a solid draft for this past weekend?
Yep. There it is. So I think a couple teams look over. I think the Jets had an excellent draft, and they really filled some holes. So I think to watch out for the Jets next year. There had been rumors that they were going to try to get DK Metcalf. I think that fell through, but they've got some young talent. So I think watch out for the Jets. I think watch out for the Baltimore Ravens. I think they had a really good draft. And again, I say watch out for the Eagles, man. And I said that before, but I think, while they didn't, I mean, they drafted a few folks, and that's fine. But you get A.J. Brown in there with Devontae Smith. Jalen Hurts is starting to play really well. They got a couple solid running backs. Watch out for the Eagles, man, especially if they can buff up their defensive side of the ball. Look out, man. And look at who's going to compete with them in the NFC least. I mean, it ain't going to be the Cowboys. Ain't going to be the Giants. I mean,
Washington Commanders. Bum, ba-dum, bum, 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 bum.
Yeah, right. To me, I think that the Eagles are going to steamroll that division next year, which will make me very happy because anytime the Cowboys lose, I'm very happy. But so those are some teams I thought did really well on draft night.
The NFC least is like the never-ending abyss.
Where careers go to die.
Anything that can happen will happen.
Hey, it's like AEW. It's where careers go to die.
Oh, Lord. All right, next question. Did the right woman walk out ROH Women's Champion last night?
That's hard because I don't get to watch a lot of ROH, but just what I know about the two, I would say yes, because I think Mercedes Martinez, I think both are terrific. And we're going to get into this when we get into our flagship segment, but it seemed like the crowd didn't care at all for this match, which was unfortunate because I thought that this was actually a good match. So, and both superstars are talented, but yes, I think Mercedes Martinez walking out with the ROH Women's Championship was the right call.
Yeah, my issue is not who the right person won. It's just the circumstances and the execution of all that last night that left the sour taste in my mouth, Chris. This whole thing with Ring of Honor and the Forbidden Door, like putting the pay-per-view to the side, like the Night Center show, like I'm putting that to the side. I'm not lumping that into this concept thing that we talk about each week because like I'm excited for that pay-per-view, but everything with the concept of the Forbidden Door and AEW working with other companies is it's like a two-faced lie, but nobody wants to admit it or bring it up because just the presentation and how it goes is just, I don't know, Burkhart. We got a lot to discuss about that in the final segment.
I know it's. We'll get into it. Get into it.
Yes.
You know what's funny about this show? Whenever we're on together, it's always like We'll get into it. We'll get into it. You know, because
we got the most entertaining segment in all professional wrestling podcasting. It is what it is.
and Josh, whenever I listen to the recap of our shows, like if I have to be on via satellite, the first thing I always jump to is what the hell is wrong with AEW, because it is the flagship segment. It is the best segment in all of wrestling podcasting.
Yes, it's if you really need a good laugh, what the hell is wrong with AEW is the cure for you.
We are not afraid to call out the bullshit.
A quick couple shout outs, really quick. Shout out to my guy Rob Aurelius from ARCG Media in the chat box here on Facebook. What's going on,
wonderful,
brother? Shout out to Big Ace. Who did a lot of shows with me and Adam in the past. By the way, check out Ace's podcast, the 2 Count Wrestling Comedy Podcast. It's very, very good. You guys should check it out. Ace is a long-time OG good brother. So what's going on, Oos?
Awesome.
Yeah, shout out to everybody. We're doing our Q&A session right now. So if you have any questions for us, don't be shy. Just hit us up in the chat box here. So, Brother Carter, you want to go to the next one?
Sure, let's do it.
All right, cool. Next question. Who will win the Meds Owen Hart Cup? Orange Cassidy. I'm kidding.
Oh God.
I only brought that up because they did show the graphic of the Joker. I'm just throwing it out there.
Have you heard the latest AEW rumor that's going around, or the idiots? Have you heard about Cesaro?
No, I haven't.
The newest one is that, I don't know if you've noticed this, but there's been this cameraman that's been dressed in all black around ringside. They're saying that that's Cesaro, and he's been in AEW for a while, and he's just going to reveal himself eventually. So that's the latest scuttlebutt on the internet about AEW.
Such riveting shit, pal.
We'll get into it, but who do you think the Joker might be?
I wouldn't put it past him if it's Orange Cassidy. You know what, Brother Carter? I think that when it comes to this, I feel they might want to bring in somebody from a different company, because they usually do this when they want to debut somebody, or somebody from like Impact or New Japan.
Yeah, for sure. I
can see that. Like, it wouldn't surprise me if somebody like Fred Rosser, the former Darren Young, would show up, or Tom Lawler wouldn't be a bad pick either. If it was up to me, and we have a great Canadian that we're honoring. By the way, Owen Hart's birthday is on Saturday as well.
Very nice.
And shout out to Kevin Owens as well, another May 7th birthday as well. Great day, May 7th it is. Mm-hmm. But I think it would be cool if they brought Josh Alexander as
that would be good.
Joker. So
I would say think about him. Maybe I just, it's going to be one of those ones where they have a Joker, they bring him in, and then this person is obscured back to irrelevancy to make way for the undisputed elite.
Yes, for sure. Who I think is going to win the tournament?
Oh yeah.
Man, I say either Darby Allin or Adam Cole. That's probably my pick.
Those were the two I was going to go with. Would be Darby. And I'm going to go with Darby is going to be the winner of the Owen Hart Cup. But I think it's going to be, I could see Allen versus Cole in the final. Will they see could they meet in the finals?
No, they're in the same side of the bracket.
Okay. Yeah. I think that could actually end up being a good match when that happens. But yeah, I like Darby Allin winning the whole thing.
We got a question here from Robbie. Says, do you think this year's WrestleMania was stupendous? In the words of Corey Grace, yes, and 100 times yes.
Yeah, absolutely. This year's WrestleMania was awesome. What was your favorite moment of the weekend, Josh?
Oh man, too much to pick from. You know what? Grab this really quick.
All right,
it's right here.
Good choice. Good choice.
Straight from the American Airlines Center, a WWE production hand. We're passing this off to people at ringside. They're SmackDown before the Hall of Fame ceremony. Awesome. Let's get a little closer so you can see the whole thing. There you go.
Yep.
My favorite moment for me this past WrestleMania weekend, outside of, by the way, hanging out with the good brother Rob in person, We had a great time in Dallas. The favorite moment for me, personally, was seeing Undertaker go into the Hall of Fame.
Yep.
Undertaker's my all-time favorite wrestler. To see that moment was definitely stupendous in itself. It's something that I'll never forget. Also, you know, I'm not a Cowboys fan. I'll make no bones about it. That team sucks and their fans are nauseating. But they
Correct.
definitely have the coolest sports venue that I've ever attended in person. That place is really cool. I enjoy my seats, even though I would prefer being in the press box because, you know, I am actually a media member. But nonetheless, I had a great time at the shows, and it was just awesome, you know. And then, you know, as a kid, I think I went to a show in the late 90s, but I don't recall as a kid of seeing Stone Cold perform in person. So to see that and what he did with Kevin Owens, and then the next night with Pat McAfee and Vince, you know, if that was the last Thunder for Vince, it's quite apropos because it went the same way the first one did.
Right. Right.
So, yes, WrestleMania 38 was definitely stupendous.
Yeah, man, I agree with you. I think the Taker Hall of Fame speech was an incredible moment. For me, one of my favorite moments. That's a tie-up between the Undertaker and seeing Cody Rhodes. Like that was just really, really, that was really cool. And like that reaction that he got, and you can just see the smile on his face of how happy he was to be back. And we'll get into this when we talk into This Week in WWE, but it's just, you see how happy he is. You can just see how genuinely happy he is on his face to be back in WWE and getting to work with the top talent. So for me, that was my favorite moment of the weekend. Yes.
All right, let's go to the next question here. Who will win the NXT Women's Breakout Tournament? I'll take this one real quick. I'm gonna go with either Roxanne Perez or Fallon Henley. That would be my two picks. And the only reason I'm picking Fallon Henley is because her last name reminds me of Don Henley of the Eagles. So,
is the person known as Roxy? Is she in this?
Yes, that's Roxanne Perez. That's
okay. That's what I thought. Yeah, I was gonna say either her or Nikita Lyons would be. Because I think Nikita Lyons is in it, isn't she?
No, she's doing her own push right now. She has a lot of stock going into her right now. I will say that. Look out for her.
I know that's what I was thinking too. So, but yeah, then I like the idea of I'm losing again. I don't watch a lot of NXT 2.0, and I feel bad about that. But yeah, I think that's going to be that Roxanne Perez. I like that idea of her winning the breakout tournament.
All right, let's go to the next one here.
Hey, real quick, Josh, do you ever think that they would have another Mae Young Classic where they started to bring in some other talent to have them compete as one-offs?
I certainly don't think that's a bad idea. I think a lot of the things that we've been looking forward to, like Cruiserweight Classics and other tournaments like that, has been kind of put on hold because of COVID.
Yeah.
Because now things are starting to get lit up again, and this thing is not over yet, obviously, but as things are starting to simmer down a bit with COVID, I think we could get stuff like that, or another Cruiserweight Classic, or I would love to see another NXT tournament for UK. NXT, yeah. I think that'd be pretty cool as well.
That's still your favorite. That's still your favorite brand right now, isn't it? NXT UK.
Yeah, for me, my personal favorite show weekly is NXT UK. If you want pure wrestling and stuff like that, NXT UK is the best show. And shout out to Andy Shepard and Nigel McGuinness, who I think may be the best broadcasting team in the business outside of Cole and McAfee, of course. Yeah, I love me some NXT UK. Next question here. This one's about New Japan, so I have to take this one. Thoughts on New Japan Wrestling Dontaku this past weekend? Fun show, 5 hours to type out this past Sunday. Literally, I almost got 5,000 words in that article that I typed out this past Sunday. It was a long show, but a lot of great matches. I loved the Hiroshi Tanahashi Tomohiro Ishii match. for the vacated U.S. title in New Japan. So Tanahashi won that one. I hope Tanahashi and Ishii are in the same brackets of the G1 Climax tournament this year. I think that'd be pretty cool. They announced, Bernard Carter, the return to the Best of the Super Juniors tournament, which should be taking place starting next week. But the cool thing is they're bringing people from the United States into this year's tournament. So like guys like Ace Austin from Impact, TJP,
Nice.
a bunch of other guys as well. So I think that's pretty cool. So they had that announcement there. What else? Again, there's just a lot of good matches on the show. Tama Tonga becoming the never open weight champion. I thought that was cool. Him beating Evil, that was a good match. Then you had Ishimori become the junior. There was a lot of title changes for this Wrestling Taku show. I think it's definitely the best pay-per-view that New Japan has done this year, outside of Wrestle Kingdom, of course. And then, the last match, Okada and Naito, was fantastic. And then they had that whole run-in with Jay White. And Juice Robinson is not part of the Bullet Club, and all that went down. The Goof Brothers. I'm not saying Good Brothers. I'm calling them Goof Brothers.
Oh.
So all the Bullet Club are back together under Jay White's leadership, and Jay White will be fighting Okada at New Japan's SummerSlam, otherwise known as Dominion, on June 12th.
Great.
Yes.
Bullet Club is all whoop-de-doo. Woo! Yay. Are you looking forward? Okay, I'll ask. Are you looking forward to the Forbidden Door show at the end of June?
I'm excited for it because it's a great show at the United Center.
Right.
I'm excited for the city more than the show itself.
Sure.
I'll say that I'll be rooting for New Japan at that show. I'll say that.
Yeah. I mean, I think on paper, like you look at some of the matches, there could be some really. There's probably going to be some really great matches. At this
of course.
And I'm sure we'll get into this when we get into our segment. But we'll get into it when we get into our segment.
Yeah, the only thing else I wanted to say about is that I got a chance to go to the Windy City Riot show a couple weeks ago at the Odeum Expo Center, where ECW used to do a couple events in Chicago. They're actually tearing it down. That building. It was the last wrestling show they were having there. But my point I wanted to make is that I've been covering New Japan like every show they've done for the last 4 or 5 years. So to finally get to see some of these guys perform in person, it's always a cool, special moment for me, I finally got to see Minoru Suzuki match in person. That was really cool. Now you get Tanahashi and Okada and those guys coming into the US. That's going to be pretty cool as well.
Yeah, for sure. And I think a lot of people are going to want to see that because they may not get to see them. Obviously, you can't travel to Japan. So, no, that'll be great.
Thank you, Chris, for the questions this week. I appreciate you, good brother. The last set of questions here comes from Nate the Great at Psycho Nagiri.
I love Nate the Great. He is great. He truly is great.
Yes, he is. How would you format the Hangman Page CM Punk title match?
Oh, God. Okay. I think they need to have. I think it's very obvious that the voice of the voiceless needs to become the new AEW World Champion. That's the first thing I would say is that needs to happen. We'll get into that when we get into our segment. I don't know. I would say they should just have a straight up great wrestling match, which I think both of them are capable of doing. If they just let them wrestle, I think that could be really terrific. Just no shenanigans. Just let them have a great match. So I would say to do that and have Punk win clean. But now with this random ass heel turn that occurred last night, which we'll get into in a bit, I have no idea what they're going to do now. But that I would say just have a straight up wrestling match and Punk wins clean because I think both of them are capable of doing that.
Yeah. I'm going to challenge AEW to do a world title match on pay-per-view without blood.
Well, that ain't going to happen.
Yeah. Bad wishful thinking, I guess, on my part. this is how I would do it. If Paige is set on destroying CM Punk, because that was his words, right? Don't go for the routine of setting up your opponent for the. Don't do things that are gonna get people pumped up for the buckshot lariat. Because I like Heyman Page, but him like Adam Cole at times kind of rely too much on counter wrestling and making their finishing moves have less importance. When I see 6 or 7 fake outs of a buckshot lariat or super kick, or you know what I mean, this whole sequence where they fake out their finishing moves because they want to counter each other. Yeah, it's nice to see, and yeah, it's competition. I get all that, but at a certain extent, when you're doing false finishes, you do multiple attempts of your finishers. Does your finishers mean anything?
Well, you got to remember, though, Josh, too, WWE does the exact same thing. Like, finishers don't matter at pay-per-views on WWE. Like, you think about it. They kick out of the finishers almost every show on a pay-per-view.
Well, I'm talking about this because this is the company that said they're going to do everything that WWE doesn't.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah.
So, yeah, I think would it be a cool visual if Paige went for the buckshot lariat and then Punk did the GTS? Sure, that'd be a cool way to end off the match. But I just want to see some psychology and if this is gonna be a brawl and a fight, have it be that way. Let's not have a counter spot fest. That's my bigger point.
I just don't think this match needs blood, but AEW can't help themselves.
Yeah, of course they can't. Next question. How much enjoyment do you get out of NXT nowadays? Oh, I get my enjoyment in certain ways. Like I enjoy Carmelo Hayes. I think he's a very talented performer. Tony D'Angelo, Paisan, how you doing? Keep it moving. How's the ghoul? How's the family? How's the family?
Your Italian brother, Josh.
Yeah, so great Paisan. Tony D'Angelo's the man. Who else? Like I still enjoy Cameron Grimes. I think the Usos brothers, Solo Sequoia, has a big future ahead of him. For the ladies, Cora Jade is very talented for her young age. Shout out to her. She's a Chicago girl. Mandy Rhodes is always a delight on my television screen, especially recently. Tito Stamatelli is a lucky bastard. I kind of like the dynamic of Vic Joseph and Wade Barrett. I like to see Vic be a little bit more loose than trying to sound like Michael Cole, but you know how it is with WWE producing their announcers. So,
right.
I still get enjoyment. It's these debates about, the black and gold brand was so much better. According to who? Let's be honest about it. The black and gold brand, was it cool that it was a super indie with WWE production? Let's call it what it was.
Right.
I just don't think that's sustainable. And I think that, I understand the purpose of why they wanted to do that. They wanted to have at least maybe a third touring brand for business purposes. I get all of that. But an issue, and it's not just WWE related, this is just industry wide. Your pitfalls of your companies come through the fact that you have no identity.
Right.
When you get to the point where people are more anticipating takeovers than your WWE pay-per-views on the same weekend, that's a problem. This is supposed to be a developmental product for what your main roster is, not, here's a super indie. Let's drop somebody into Raw and SmackDown.
Right.
I say this because it's true. No organization, I don't care what entertainment company is going to have any sustainable success if you don't have an identity attached to it. Have your faults with Raw and SmackDown. Trust me, I know Raw and SmackDown's not perfect or anything like that, but they have an identity, and I know what I'm watching.
Right.
I watch a lot of these other shows. I'll give Impact credit; they've been doing a lot better recently. Try to do things on their own accord, but all the stuff with the Forbidden Door and yada yada yada, it's not good for the industry, in my opinion. Because when you need to lump in other promotions to get more buzz for your own promotion or take ideas from that, what does that say about your own product?
Correct.
3 years in, I still can't tell you what AEW actually is. What's elite about it?
I don't know, because we don't know week to week what we're gonna get. Like, we don't know. The only storyline that they have consistently been developing has been the MJF Wardlow story.
Yeah.
That's the only one. And, and we'll get into this when we get into our segment. But with MJF, of course, anything he does is gold, and they're turning Wardlow into a megastar. So that's a story they're actually doing correctly. But the rest of it, I'm like, the Undisputed Elite story is all over the place. I'm sure we're waiting for Olivier to show back up, and when Roderick Strong finally shows up in AEW, because let's face it, it's coming.
That's not gonna make a difference.
No, it's not. But because look how well it's worked out for Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish.
Right.
But so you're right. Like, I just don't know what the identity is. I will say though, I got a chance to watch NXT Stand and Deliver, and I really enjoyed that show. I think Braun Breaker has a lot of potential. I think he's terrific. Cameron Grimes is outstanding. The Usos' cousin, what's his name?
Oh,
Yeah, that was terrific. On the women's side, you've got Mandy Rose. My God, she has reinvented herself and is fantastic. You got Io Shirai, who is fantastic. I like Cora Jade. I really think like what she's doing. So, there's a lot of talent in NXT 2.0. So we'll see what happens.
Last question for the Q&A this week. Do you think titles change hands too much in New Japan? I'll say they have a lot of titles. I will say that, but you can pick and choose a company. There's a time period where titles just flip-flop all over the place. So I can't really say that this company's doing it more than others.
Right.
It's just periodic, and depending on where the companies have their programs and feuds, that's going to happen sometimes. So I can't really say that New Japan changes their titles too much. They have a lot, so that's just about to happen, I guess. But I want to thank Chris and Nate for asking some awesome questions this week. Right now, we're going to get to This Week in WWE. I do have an audio clip I want to play in between, but I'm going to pass it off to Brother Carter and have him take over. Let's talk about what happened this week in WWE right here on the podcast.
Let's do that. Okay, let's give some time for the audio clip there. All right, very good. Okay, so let's start This Week in WWE, and let's start with SmackDown, Josh, and just pulling out the results here to remember what happened there. I thought this week was a good show. I enjoyed the continuing to build the Drew McIntyre and Sami Zayn stuff. So I think that's really great. It looks like they're building towards their feud. This week's edition of SmackDown was mostly just a development of the feuds, obviously getting ready for WrestleMania Backlash this weekend. And so I thought there was some good stuff there. Nice to see Raquel Gonzalez finally Raquel Rodriguez, my apologies.
Yep.
I love the fact that she's now on SmackDown. I've always thought that she has incredible potential and adds to an already stacked women's division on SmackDown. And we'll get into this more when we get into Raw. But so I think that I really enjoyed this week's episode of SmackDown. I only got to see some clips. I didn't get to watch the full show from top to bottom. So I only got to see some clips. But just great to see Raquel Gonzalez. A lot of good stuff from this week's show. So what did you like on this week's show?
Well, it was good to see the Tribal Chief, of course.
Always.
Of course, always down with the Tribal Chief. I know a lot of people are bummed out over the fact that it's not going to be a championship unification match, but I would take a bar burner of a 6-man tag that we're going to have on Sunday as opposed to a cold main event with 2 weeks build attached to it. You know what I mean? I get it. It's last minute bait and switch. I wanted to see the Usos and RK Bro, but here's the thing: you can have that match at Hell in the Cell too. That would be a good Hell in the Cell match to actually do. So,
by the way, if I miss something, is Nakamura hurt?
I don't think he was ever pegged to be the next guy. I think it was more of to acknowledge the fact that Books got injured.
Okay, that
week for Mania, but.
Yeah, because for me, I thought that week after the SmackDown after WrestleMania, I thought they were going to set up a one-off match with Nakamura and Reigns, which I would have loved to seen. So I've kind of been, because Nakamura has always been one of my favorite superstars. So I've been kind of wondering what's been happening with him. I wish he would have gotten his opportunity for a one-off with Reigns, but maybe he will a little later down the road if they do the unification thing. But now it looks like it's going to be Drew McIntyre with Roman Reigns. So I just, we try not to talk about booking too much, but I really was hoping that Nakamura would have gotten a shot at Reigns because I think he could have delivered.
Yeah, well, the last couple weeks I was trying to figure out what was going to happen with the tribal chief at the WrestleMania, but yeah, it looks more clear that's going to be Drew McIntyre, and that's fine.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah. What was I going to say? Hubba.
Try to derail your train of thought there.
Tomorrow they're having a tables match with New Day and Sheamus and Rich Holland. I think that's going to be a good match.
What you mean, Josh? They're not having a tables match every week, or they're not using tables every week?
They're not.
Wow.
Bleeding. They're not bleeding.
So this means this tables match actually means something,
right?
We can't help ourselves. We just can't.
By the way, Ricochet retained over Shanky, Veer. Like I said, there's a couple pieces of audio that I wanted to play.
Yep.
Let's check this out here. One second here. I got here. It's between Adam Pearce and Paul Heyman from SmackDown backstage. So let's play a little bit of this.
Great.
Mr. Heyman, Mr. Pearce, I'm sure you have all your little minions running around giving you all the inside scoops from the locker room, but surely you have been apprised by now Roman Reigns is not very happy this evening. I'm aware. So I want you to have a good relationship with the undisputed champion, and here's what I'd like you to do, sir. You know this title unification match you had with the Usos and RK Bro? Slight change, a little bit of an upgrade, and an elevated status and prestige of this match. At WrestleMania Backlash, imagine this, RK Bro and Drew McIntyre versus the Usos and Roman Reigns.
I'll have a unification. I just can't change it. For 6 months. Championships.
I admire a man who will stick to his principles at the expense of his own career. To give someone like me the ammunition to go to the board of directors and file a complaint that you would deprive the WWE Universe of a match at WrestleMania Backlash involving the tribal chief Roman Reigns? Oh, Mr. Pierce, you can make that match. And I assure you, you will.
Boom. One of the things I like doing here in the Who's Podcast is that we have these clips here to provide context and substance here. And no matter where you seek decisions going one way direction, all cards are dealt through the tribal chief. He sets the tone. It's his direction of what he wants to do, not the other way around, pal.
Right.
So I thought that was cool. Then we had the Beat the Clock I Quit challenge. That wasn't what it was. I wasn't crazy or upset about it. It was what it was.
Right. It's fine. I would, it's because I think I'm just trying to look at here. I mean, it's good. I'm hoping we get to see more of Shotzi and Aaliyah on SmackDown because I think that they're both very talented and we haven't really seen a lot from them recently. Aaliyah had that whole thing with Natalya with, having the world record for the fastest win in WWE history. And Shotzi's kind of been off TV for a while. So I hope we get to see them both back pretty soon, more featured programs. Cause I think both of them are very talented.
Right.
Especially Shotzi. Like she's fantastic.
tomorrow night on SmackDown, we have Sasha Banks against Shayna Baszler.
Oh, good. I hope Shayna Baszler knocks her ass out. Knocks out overrated Banks.
Let's get into Raw really quick.
Yes. All right. Let me pull up my notes from Raw here. Yeah, Josh, I thought this was a really good episode of Raw this week. I guess just kind of going through it. I did have a chance to watch Raw this week, so that was really good. I'd say good brawl to open the show, but I wrote down, why wouldn't Drew McIntyre sneak up on the Bloodline also? I said, I guess the sword wouldn't have made it past security in the entrance to the arena. So, I don't know. But yeah, so that's I thought the opening brawl was fine. The other thing I said about Raw this week was it seemed like Teddy Long was booking the show this week because we had a lot of six-person matches this week. I think we had 3 of them.
Holla, 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 player.
Yeah. So I thought that was really good. What else? Any thoughts so far?
Yeah. When Roman said acknowledge me and Arcade Bro did the RKOs right after, I just thought that was a good time there.
By the way, people, I don't know if you noticed this, Josh, with the crowd, people are finally starting to really buy into Roman Reigns. Like, he's starting to get cheered again.
Yep.
Because the crowd is finally realizing, oh, wait. Yeah, he's finally realizing, oh, wait. He actually, oh, my God, they're shoving him down our throats. We're going to revolt. Oh, wait, he's actually a badass and one of the best in the world. So, yeah, we should cheer Roman Reigns because he's really damn good.
See how that works?
You don't necessarily give the people what they want. You give people what's best for business, and they finally jump on board. Oh, my God, what a concept.
Right. I had a couple things that stood out to me.
Yep.
You know, I enjoyed that first 6-man tag that we saw with Ezekiel and the Street Profits against Kevin Owens and the Alpha Academy. Yep. Shush, please. Shush, please. Oh, thank you.
Dude, he's fantastic. He is great. Chad Gable could be, I definitely see him being a mid-card champion soon. Maybe a world champion. We'll see. But Chad Gable is terrific.
I have a feeling that that Stephanie McMahon is going to come out soon and fire Sonya Deville soon.
I wrote down.
I think the writing's on the wall with that.
Yeah, I said I would love to see Sonya Deville just be a regular superstar again because I think she needs to just be in the ring kicking ass because she's a great wrestler and she's great on the mic. So I want to see Sonya Deville as an active competitor full time and winning championships.
You're fired.
Yes.
One more audio clip that we're going to play in this segment this week, and we got to give a shout out to another Canadian mensch, the one and only Edge.
Yes.
Play a little bit of
This was awesome.
AJ Styles, don't be a lemming. For once in your life, use your intelligence. But I know you won't. That's not the way you're wired. Your heart outweighs your brain. But AJ, just know that by not staying at home with your wife and kids, by not hugging them tight, you are rushing headlong into pain and judgment at WrestleMania Backlash. I said he is rushing into pain and judgment at WrestleMania Backlash. You peons!
So good. I have to admit, I wasn't sure what this reinvented character was going to end up being, but this has been awesome. It's been so good.
Did you see the clip of him making fun of people mocking him and his new gimmick?
Yes, I did. It was great. I think you said
exactly like Cornette. That's the Undertaker thing.
But no, you said it best, Josh, on Twitter. He is a national treasure. Edge is absolutely fantastic.
Yes.
And I love the addition of Damian Priest. I texted this to you too. Damian Priest has not failed at anything he's done in WWE. The Archer of Infamy was great. When he was U.S. champion, it was really good. Damian Priest needs to be a world champion. I'm sorry, but he does. He's fan-freaking-tastic.
Yes. Let's get into the Cody Rhodes, Seth Rollins segment because this was my favorite part of Raw this past Monday night.
Okay.
Just the story they've been going with. Obviously, they haven't addressed the elephant in the room about AEW, nor do I think they need to be honest with you. But one thing that's really stood out to me from what they've been mentioning is the fact that when they do address the titles that Cody's going after, they keep saying the WWE title. And it makes me think when that time does come for Cody, I don't think he's going to go after both belts.
Oh, interesting.
Yes.
So that's a way that you can unsplit the titles.
Yes.
Got it. Because yeah, you can. That's a good point. You can make Cody WWE champion, and then that way Roman Reigns is still the longest reigning Universal champion.
Right.
I like that. That makes sense.
Yes. Cody and Steph, I really enjoyed the segment, and freaking Steph is like, your dad was not good enough. He was an egomaniac, and so are you. He's like, as long as I'm here, you're not good enough to win the title either, pal. Cody did the Cody Cutter. I haven't got to the point where I needed to bring up the Jeff Jarrett strut gifs. So far so good.
He's been. Well, and I mentioned this to you earlier, Josh, but you can just see on his face how happy he is to be back. You know, like he recognizes he's home. He went and made a name for himself, and we gave him a lot of flack when he was in AEW, and he deserved it. Let's be honest, he deserved that flack. But now he's went out, he's made a name for himself, he's come back, and he's at the top of his game right now, man. I'm so happy for Cody Rhodes.
Yep. I am curious to see this Broken Skull session.
Yeah, and I think that's where they're going to address a lot of the AEW stuff, I'm sure, is on the Broken Skull sessions. I'm kind
of curious to see what Stone Cold has to say about his WrestleMania appearance. This is his first live thing since Mania, so I'm kind of curious to see if that's brought up.
Cool. I have
a couple other things really quick I wanted to mention. R-Truth is the national treasure.
Yes, he is. I wrote that too.
Treasures. Raw was in Greensboro, North Carolina this past Monday, so I thought the crowd was decent. I enjoyed the Damian Priest AJ Styles match. I thought that was good.
I like that too. I want to say, Josh, to the internet, Bullet Club is not coming to WWE, so just cool your horses. Because as soon as everyone saw the Too Sweet, oh God, Bullet Club is back!
Oh Lord, be careful what you wish for. You might just get it.
You know, Josh, I could see this happening too. Well, we'll get into this into the predictions, but that may be a very short-lived reunion this week. So just keep that in mind.
Yes. What was I going to say? Shout out to the ladies. I thought they had a killer main event on Raw.
Yeah, absolutely.
And nice to see the Morgan waterfall get to pick up the dub at the end. So that was pretty cool.
I wrote this down too, Josh. All 6 of those women in the ring at the same time shows you the Raw women's division is stacked. Like you've got Liv Morgan, Asuka, Bianca Belair, Becky Lynch, Rhea Ripley, Sonya Deville. You throw in there Doudrop and Nikki ASH. And I'm a big fan of Dana Brooke, too. So that's a great women's division on Raw. Like, it's really solid.
Absolutely. Really quick, before we get to our main event segment, let's talk a little bit about we got 2 more things we got to do really quick.
Hey, can I just get your thoughts on a couple more things from Raw this week, Josh?
Yes, go ahead.
What are your thoughts on the Mustafa Ali stuff? Because I'm glad he's back. I've always been a fan of Mustafa Ali. I wish he would be a little bit more of kind of a realist in his promos. I feel like he's kind of reverting back to his old ways with his promos. He's got a ton of momentum right now. So I want him to be a little bit more real, a little bit more kind of like, no, I'm here, I'm gonna whoop your ass kind of thing. But he seems like kind of cartoonish in his promos. But so I'm happy he's getting his opportunity, but I think he's kind of missing the boat here a little bit.
I'm happy he's back too, but I followed tea leaves really well, and I have a couple of people reach out throughout the industry. He's one of those people when you see these reports about the morale of the locker room, being down or whatever. Like you'll see that on Fightful here and there.
Yeah.
He's one of those people that'll stooge that information off to.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So for me, I have no respect for performers who can't handle their own business on their own accord. If you need to go to the dirt sheets to have your creative booking sympathy, I don't have respect for that. Kind of the same reasons why I'm indifferent towards Ember Moon. You know, she went on her whole spiel about her being last week, and props to Chris Van Vliet for the interview and all of that. But she's another one. Like I remember when Matt was on with us, we did one episode, and then remember it was like the day before she was talking crap about Sasha Banks and Bayley on the backstage show on Fox. You could tell who stooges off on to the dirt sheets for the WWE. You could tell that a mile away. If it's obviously where Ali and Austin Theory have a program, I wouldn't have a problem with that.
Right. Austin Theory, by the way, he's outstanding. I am all in. I now see why Vince is so high on Austin Theory. He's got the look, he's got the talk, he's got the ring acumen. Austin Theory is going to be a world champion, no doubt about it.
Yeah, he may be a stooge and a clown, but he's pretty good.
And he's also going to get paid. So, it's just like, oh, he's selling out. You're damn right. He sells out every arena he goes to. So,
yep.
The last thing I'll say about Raw this week, Josh, is I kind of hope Becky Lynch starts to turn into a psycho like her husband. That could make for some really fun interaction where she gets all kind of, because you can start to see she's starting to get kind of like, mentally unstable. So if she can be like that with her husband, that could do some fun stuff with her and Rollins.
Well, if they're going to interact with each other on TV, it'd probably be better off with them as heels than.
Oh, for sure. 100%. So
I agree.
Yeah, I enjoyed Raw this week. I thought it was a good show.
Yeah, me too. Really quick, before we get to our main events, we have two things we have to accomplish first. Okay. First off, we got predictions to make.
Oh!
And then I'll talk a little bit about what's going on for NXT UK today. So let's start it off with some predictions.
All right. Josh,
all
right, Josh, this is where Brother Carter takes over whenever we get to the prediction part of the show. So happy to do it. As we've all talked about, WrestleMania Backlash is this Sunday. Before that, Josh, and I know that we don't really talk a lot about combat sports here, but really quick, I want to give a shout out to folks that if we have any UFC fans, UFC 274 is on Saturday night, and I'm really looking forward to that card. We got a couple of really great fights coming up. Let me pull up the main event. Yeah, Charles Oliveira and Justin Gaethje, another rematch for them. I think that's going to be just a flat-out brawl. That's going to be a ton of fun. So I'm really looking forward to that. Looking forward to seeing Michael Chandler fight Tony Ferguson. Also looking forward to seeing Donald Cerrone, the Cowboy, back in the octagon again. So to everybody, looking forward to that. That's going to be a really great event on Saturday night. Now, switching gears on Sunday, WrestleMania Backlash, where we get a lot of rematches from WrestleMania, kind of cleaning up some of the angles before we head into the summer months. So this should be a really good show. We're going to give our predictions right now. I am reading these in reverse order as they are listed on WWE.com on their page. And we're going to start with Happy Corbin versus Madcap Moss. This has been very entertaining feud recently. I think Madcap Moss has really started to come into his own, and I'm really, really excited for what's happening with this. I've got Madcap Moss winning this match, and then Baron Corbin maybe getting rid of the Happy Corbin gimmick and just kind of going back to being a badass. But I've got Madcap Moss winning this match. Who do you have?
Initially, I was going to go with Baron Corbin, because usually when the babyface has been getting like most of the momentum going into the pay-per-view, usually the heel will go. So I think tomorrow's SmackDown will be very telling of which direction they'll go with for the ending of that match. I'm happy that they're getting this chance to be on pay-per-view. Some people may be indifferent towards Baron Corbin, but if you can get Riddick Moss cheered, that tells you how good of a heel you are. So I'm going to go with Corbin as a safe bet, but I would not be surprised if Moss won.
Great. Next up, we've got Bobby Lashley versus Omos in a rematch from WrestleMania. I'm going to take Omos here just because I don't think Bobby Lashley needs a win, and Omos does, especially now that he's with MVP. So yeah. I've got Omos winning this match.
Yeah, I got Omos winning here. This may be a referee stoppage type thing. I don't know if you could try to do some submission or something like that, where it's like ring the bell, ring the bell, ring the bell. But I'll go with Omos to beat Bobby Lashley.
Great. AJ Styles versus Edge with Damian Priest barred from ringside. I'll let you go first, Josh. Who you got in this one?
I got AJ Styles here. I know this is being aggressive, and it's very interesting. My picks had to be very cautious because we have a Hell to Sell pay-per-view next month. So just when you think a feud may be over, it may actually extend towards for Hell in a Cell here in Chicago. So I say AJ Styles wins this match, but it's not over between those two guys.
Gotcha. I'm actually going to take Edge in this match because even though Damian Priest is barred from ringside, it doesn't mean other folks aren't barred from ringside. So, and I think there's going to be a turn, and I think it's going to be Finn Balor is going to turn and join Edge's group Judgment Day. So I've got Edge winning this match with Finn Balor costing AJ Styles a match going forward.
Yes.
All right, next up. We'll go ahead and do this match now because usually we save the Tribal Chief for the main event, but I actually don't think that this match is going to be the main event. Drew McIntyre and the Raw Tag Team Champions, RK Bro, versus the Tribal Chief, our Tribal Chief, the head of the table, God Mode, the one, Roman Reigns, and the Usos. Who do you got here, Josh? I'll let you go first here.
I got McIntyre and RK Bro. Either Drew McIntyre lays out one of the Usos with a Claymore, or they do a double RKO spot. But I got Drew McIntyre and RK Bro winning. Honestly, this is a little toss-up for me. I think either team can win, to be honest with you. I'm just excited to type this out from a transcription point of view. This should be a barn burner of barn burners. So this should be a lot of fun. And nobody knows how to lay out 6-man tag matches better than the Tribal Chief. I mean, look at the Shields pass, those 6-man tags. So this should be awesome. But I'm going to go with Drew McIntyre and RK Bro.
I'm also going to go with Drew McIntyre and RK Bro. I think that it's very easy for McIntyre to pin one of the Usos. Reigns can get mad at his cousins, and you continue that storyline, and then that sets up McIntyre versus Reigns at Hell in the Cell.
Right.
So, yep, I like that. All right, next up, SmackDown Women's Championship match: Charlotte Flair versus Ronda Rousey in an I Quit match. This, to me, Josh, is the two best female wrestlers in the world right now going at it. I think there's Charlotte Flair, as we've said many times, is the GOAT. She is the current GOAT, has been for several years now. And I think Ronda Rousey may be the best pure in-ring female wrestler in the world.
Yes.
I'm going to take Ronda Rousey to win the SmackDown Women's Championship here. I think in an I Quit match, it's a safe way to take the belt off Charlotte and to give Ronda an opportunity to run with the SmackDown Women's Championship. So I've got Ronda Rousey winning and being your new SmackDown Women's Champion.
Sometimes I like to see wrestling Twitter burn. So I am going to go with Charlotte to retain Sunday. So I'm going to go with Charlotte here. And I don't know who needs to say I quit more. The performers in this match or the defense team of Amber Heard. Because ugly, really. I think the match will be good. I'm curious to see how the match layout is, but I'm just telling you right now, before people, it doesn't make sense. Well, how can Charlotte win? Hey, don't be surprised if Charlotte fights Ronda Rousey in Hell in a Cell. I'm just telling you right now. So I'm going to go with Charlotte to retain.
Great. And then the match that I actually think is going to be the main event of this show is Cody Rhodes versus Seth Rollins. This is one of the most interesting storylines in WWE right now. They've done a great job building this up. Cody has been almost flawless in his return. I think he still needs to knock off a little bit of ring rust. There's been some spots where I've been like, okay, Cody, come on. I need you to step up your game a little bit. Fortunately, he's working with Rollins, who is an elite level talent. And notice what I did there, an elite level talent, because he actually is elite and has worked. Now that Cody knows what it's like to actually work with elite talent, he's going to step up his game. I have got Seth Rollins winning this because I think that they can continue this feud into the summer. Rollins, Rhodes got the surprise win at WrestleMania. you can say Rollins can come back and say, see, I told you so, that Cody's not as good as he is. And you can continue this feud into the summer. So I've got Seth freaking Rollins, the architect, the visionary, letting us all know why it is, in fact, Monday Night Rollins.
I'm going with Cody Rhodes to win this one. I think this is more of a one-off payoff rematch of a WrestleMania thing. I don't see where it's going to continue. I look at more where Seth Rollins is right now. Like, don't be surprised if Seth Rollins turns into a babyface soon. The crowds are singing his songs, and they're all with the whole weird thing that he does, the little shimmy dance and stuff like that. So I think it's a one-off, and then we'll get to more personal grudge for Cody Rhodes after this pay-per-view. So I'm going to go Cody Rhodes to beat Seth Rollins.
Awesome. Man, so Josh, for a while, you and I are a bit split on our predictions. So this should be a very fun show this weekend, and I'm very much looking forward to WrestleMania Backlash.
Yes. We have courage of our convictions. No. All right. Before we wrap up this week in WWE, I just want to talk really quick about NXT UK, my favorite show that WWE does each week. Today we got Miko Satomura putting her NXT UK Women's title on the line against Isla Dawn in a World of Darkness match. I don't know what in the blue hell that is, but I'm intrigued. World of Darkness, that's pretty interesting. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It should be a fun match. And NXT UK never ceases to amaze me. Coming up soon, they have the 200th episode of NXT UK, which will actually be a week from today, actually. It's next week. We have Jordan Devlin against Ilya Dragunov for the NXT UK title next week on NXT UK. And they had the stipulation of the loser, whoever loses that match will leave NXT UK. So curious to see how that plays out. That should be very, very interesting. So that's my thoughts on NXT UK this week here on the Hoots podcast. But yeah, overall, pretty solid week as usual for WWE. No outside shenanigans, hopefully. Again, my thoughts go out to everybody that got released the other day for NXT. You hate to see that, but it's part of the industry. And, nothing in this business is guaranteed or linear. So there's a wide open landscape for professional wrestling for a lot of these performers, and the road doesn't stop from them from here just because they got released. So my thoughts go out to all of them, and their futures should be pretty bright. I'm pretty excited for it, and yeah, it should be a very, very good time. Taking a quick swig of water here. Coming up next week, also we got New Japan's Capital Collision, which will be taking place in Washington, D.C., obviously. They announced a couple of big matches this week on their Twitter feed for New Japan. They're having Okada and Trent Beretta taking on Jay White and Hikuleo. Also, we got a fatal four-way match for the IWGP US title where Tanahashi is defending the title against, hear this out, Jon Moxley, Will Ospreay, and Juice Robinson in a fatal four-way match. That's going to be insane. Also, we got Ishii and Eddie Kingston, and then Minoru Suzuki against Brody King. So that Capital Collision show should be pretty interesting as well. And don't forget, Impact Wrestling also has a pay-per-view this weekend on Saturday called Under Siege, which you want to check out as well. But all that being said, let's scrap all of that and let's give the people what they want, what they've been waiting for. Yes, I'll have this set up right now as I got to pull up these clips here. It is time, once again, to keep the people what they want, otherwise known as What the Hell is Wrong with AEW. We're going to start this bad boy off in a 3, 2, 1.
Beat your meat, 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 beat your meat.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Whoa. Hey there. Hey there.
Uh-oh.
My bad. Let's do this again.
It's time for What the Hell is Wrong with AEW? Brought to you this week by Sorcerers.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my God. Josh, you know what's great about our show? We have a wrestling promotion that writes a segment for us every week. And this week's show was no different. So Josh, what the hell is wrong with AEW? I want to start really quick by, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
I just want to start by talking about a couple of the things that I enjoyed this week. I will say this. The wrestling on the show this week, I actually didn't mind. I thought the actual in-ring competition this week, I didn't mind. The rest of the show was complete and utter dog shit. Like, it was terrible. So, the matches were fine. I thought the Bobby Fish versus Jeff Hardy was fine. Neither of the competitors really do it for me anymore. I thought the William Regal promo was actually pretty good. I liked that. I thought that was he's kind of a sadistic bastard, so I like that. And I actually liked the match with Wardlow and William Morrissey. I was glad to see William Morrissey getting his shot in AEW because I always thought he was very talented as well. The main event was fine. Mercedes Martinez and Deonna Purrazzo. I thought that match was fine. And that's it. That's all I got. The MJF Wardlow stuff, of course, is gold. I think we can always know that is probably one of the best storylines in professional wrestling right now. MJF is amazing. He needs to get as far away from AEW as possible. That's all I got. What did you like about the show? Was there anything you liked about the show this week, Josh?
When JR said we'll see you next week. I enjoyed the Dante Martin Ray Phoenix match, at least the second half of the match, not the first part of it. It got a little bit of a tumbling fest at the beginning part of it, but I thought I picked that towards the end. What else? I like the Wardlow stuff with MJF, but like I was telling you last night, I don't give AEW brownie points for their MJF feuds. That's all him.
Right.
It's one thing where we can only pick out CM Punk and MJF every week as the best things on the show. That's not a good thing.
Correct.
And, whenever that moment does happen, it'll be a big moment and a big moment for Wardlow. And I agree with everybody and how Wardlow's being presented right over the last couple weeks or so. And that's cool. A lot of my issues this week is just some of the same stuff that I've been bringing up over the last couple weeks. Is just the same repetitive format of the shows. And the only difference this week was that CM Punk was not on the show. So,
worse.
But that doesn't mean that the format is not true, because usually with AEW, we show the flashy new signing or prize object in the toy chest of Tony Khan. So CM Punk's not there. Let's start off with Adam Cole, baby.
Yeah. At least I started off. I mean, I always have high hopes for Adam Cole, but what has he done in AEW that has had any significance at all?
Can we say that Adam Cole's AEW run been mid so far?
Yes. Yes, we can. Absolutely. But yet he struts around like, oh, I'm the greatest thing ever because I'm now in AEW and I'm with my friends and we're doing these tumbling matches or whatever.
I'll talk about this last week. They start off usually CM Punk, Blackpool Combat Club, Wardlow, MJF, a Spot Fest after that, a Ruby Soho, Britt Baker backstage segment that goes absolutely nowhere, another random tag match, and then the main event, something that has nothing to do with AEW.
You've just booked
every week.
You've just booked every Dynamite for the last month.
Last 2 months.
All right, let's get into it. All right. Okay, so we've got again we had the Bobby Fish Jeff Hardy match. It was fine, sort of.
I thought it overstayed its welcome, but
yeah, I mean, listen, Jeff Hardy needs to give it up, man. Like, I'm sorry, but he just doesn't have neither of those superstars do it for me. Like, I think it was fine, but Jeff Hardy's getting old. He's having troubles moving. Bobby Fish is average at best. He's generic. He's not anything special. Just because he's allied himself with, the Undisputed Era or the Undisputed Elite does not mean that he's anything special. So fine. Okay, let's get into this 6-man tag with the Blackpool Combat Club and 3 people who I can't even remember who they faced because it doesn't matter.
It was the Butcher, the Baker, and the weird candlestick maker.
Great, I don't even care. It doesn't matter. Again, that match was fine, but like, apparently, as we've established, anything can happen in AEW and rules don't matter because apparently all 6 of them just start beating, the Blackpool Combat Club starts beating down everybody in the ring, and the ref just looks around like, I don't know, submission, okay, ring the bell, yay, Blackpool Combat Club wins. Like, the hell?
Yeah, I have to say this because this is an industry-wide issue, and I know our guy, referee Tony, will appreciate this. It's bad enough that in most cases that you can't a singles match in AEW can barely keep the attention of the announcers. Like, you can't really comprehend and digest what they're doing because it's so much of a spot fest and going nonstop and nonstop and nonstop. But this is an industry-wide issue here. It's not just 6-man tags, but it's just general tag matches. I am so tired of the pre-match brawls around ringside before a tag match starts. Just open up AEW and just say you don't give shit about the referees, you don't care about the rules. The performers barely even hold the tag ropes if there is a tag rope in AEW. And it's so ridiculous. It's like, and I know they get it from New Japan because they do this all the time there too. These stupid, sloppy-ass Suzuki gun brawls around ringside where we're throwing people into barricades and we're spending the first 10 minutes of the match on the fucking floor instead of doing something in the ring. I'm trying to digest this and comprehend what's going on from a transfer point of view. I can't figure out who's the legal man because we're all fighting like jackasses at ringside. Oh, we'll just pick 2 random people that get back in the ring and that'll be how we start off the match. I'm not saying that you can't have brawls before tag matches, but when it happens every fucking week, it gets tiresome. And I all respect to John Moxley and Bryan Danielson, they do great work, but I'm getting tired of having Wheeler Yuta shove down my freaking throat, man. Like, you have a generic wrestler, he bleeds in one match, and now supposed to take him seriously as a superstar. Mark Henry is saying, the Blackpool Combat Club is going to be the next NWO. Get the fuck out of here.
God, did he really say that?
Yeah, he said it on Busted Open.
Dumbass.
Like, and then they do these trios matches every week that overstay their welcome. You know what's cool? You want to make a dominant faction look cool? Let's have a trios match that doesn't take 2 segments every week.
Right, you're just going to beat down your opponents, and you're telling me that Butcher, Baker, and the Candlestick Maker are supposed to be legitimate competition for the Blackpool Combat Club if they're as bloodthirsty and as violent as they say they are? Come on, like, they basically went up against 3 jobbers.
Yeah, and then all their matches are always ending the same, where we have everybody in the ring. The referee's not doing their job to get the people out of the ring. So we'll have stereo moves and elbows like that, and somebody's tapping the other guy for the victory. It's like,
also,
it's just there for me. Like, am I supposed to mark out for the Blackpool Combat Club because they rip off New Japan?
Of course not. But again, that's AEW's ammo, Josh. It's like, okay, what is everybody else doing? Hey, let's do that. And then people will cheer for us because we can't come up with our own storylines. We can't come up with our own identity. It's like, oh, that's cool. We'll do that. Oh, NWO, cool. That's cool. We'll do that. And then we'll have nostalgia era from the Attitude Era. And then all these folks will eventually go away because, like, all right, I'm bored with this. And AEW will fold because, yeah, yeah, that's, the fans are going to go away, but guess what? Those wrestlers are still going to want to get paid. So it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous, Josh. By the way, again, we're talking about storylines and stuff. I thought Wheeler Yuta was supposed to be feuding with Best Friends. Where have they been? If we're talking about just storyline. Now, fine, I'm glad Best Friends are off my television. Yes, but was there ever any resolution or closure to that storyline? Or did I miss something on Rampage or Dark or something? No. So why should I care now about Wheeler Yuta just all of a sudden coming in and doing this thing?
And when's the last time Bryan Danielson cut a promo?
I don't know.
Don't get me wrong. I did mind the William Regal video. That was cool and all. I have no issues with that, but it's just there for me, Brent Carr. I really have nothing to say. I'm not against it. I'm not for it either. It's just there. It doesn't resonate with me.
Okay. True. All right, let's go ahead. Okay, so next up we have the MJF Wardlow stuff. Again, I thought this was a good match. Wardlow's coming into his own. Great to see William Morrissey getting his shot on a bigger stage, like AEW, because I thought he's always been really talented. So once again, Wardlow destroys all of the security for like the 4th week in a row, and basically showed us that AEW has no security options and anyone can do anything they want. But we knew that already because rules don't exist in AEW. Also, all of the fans that were at this show deserve to be slapped upside the head for the "We Want Enzo" chants. Like, they do realize that Enzo is not a good human being, right?
I wouldn't go for Baltimore, Maryland to get the answer to that question.
I will say props to making fun of him, the fans. So that was good. But dude, like, seriously, Enzo is not a good person. We want Enzo. Again, more proof that AEW fans are. You hear Edge talking about sheep and lemmings. That's your AEW faithful right there.
Yeah, that's why I take their reactions with a grain of salt. They are lemmings. How about this? William Morrissey is actually a babyface in Impact Wrestling. Shows you how much Tony Khan pays attention to Impact.
That partnership was going to be revolutionary for those. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Okay, Josh, the next thing on the show was the Adam Page promo. And so, again, why are they turning Adam Page randomly heel now in this most unbelievable way possible? Like, why are you really expecting me to take Hangman Adam Page seriously as a heel against the best in the world? Like, really? And this wasn't a good heel promo. Like, I don't believe Adam Page one bit as a heel.
Was that a main event match to you?
No.
Does CM Punk and Hangman Page scream pay-per-view main event to you?
No. I'm sorry, but Hangman Adam Page, I do not buy him for 1 second as a credible world champion. I never
got the sheep and commentary, JR and Tony Schiavone. Oh, this is going to be a classic. This is going to be a classic.
The only chance they have of that being a classic is CM Punk taking charge and making it a classic. That's the only shot they got. But, like, you're telling me that Hangman Adam Page is a credible threat to CM Punk? No, absolutely not. Hangman Page has been the biggest example of a transitional champion that I have seen in a very long time.
Yeah.
And they need to get that belt, which is a shame too, because I like Hangman Adam Page. I think he has potential. But I'm sorry, his promos are not good. He's not good on the mic.
I told you this last night. Last night was not a good night for the pro wrestlers should have creative freedom crowd.
No, absolutely not. So again, let's take a look at our world champions in all of the major promotions, right? Roman Reigns.
Yep.
Right. Is Moose still? No, it's Josh Alexander now. Yeah. Fine in Impact. I believe him as a credible world champion. Hangman Adam Page. Like, do you believe that Page could go with Alexander or the Tribal Chief?
No.
No, absolutely not.
You can't go with Okada.
No. Ishii
or Alexander Hammerstone in MLW.
Right. Like, all of those guys would steamroll Hangman Adam Page. So, oh God. Okay, let's move on. Okay. This is the thing I wanted to talk about so much, Josh. And we have to be very careful what we say now, because apparently there is a wizard in our mix. The fuck was that? Why is Jericho all of a sudden the wizard, Chris Jericho? Like, I saw that and I was like, okay, that's it. I'm over Chris Jericho. Chris Jericho sucks. Chris Jericho sucks. And I can't believe I'm saying that about somebody who has been one of the top competitors for over 20 years. He sucks. He's become Matt Hardy. Like, absolutely reduced to relegation. The Jericho Appreciation Society sucks. It's boring. I don't care about it at all. Who are your guys?
How about that corny intro that they do before Judas plays?
Oh my God. Like, so Josh, again, what about the Jericho Appreciation Society is threatening? Jake Hager? Boy, that's going to put some butts in the seats.
The only thing threatening about it is how quick I'm going to fall asleep during their match.
Yes. It ain't Jericho. It ain't Hager. It ain't 2.0. I don't even know their names, what they're calling 2.0 now. I don't even care. And Daniel Garcia, like, what do you think, Josh? As soon as I saw the wizard, I was like, I'm done. I'm done. I've had enough of this.
Well, I first off, I'm trying to figure out what he's the wizard of. A delusion?
He's the wizard of demographics, Josh. He's the wizard of ratings.
He's the wizard of the MAGA wrestling club.
No.
That's what he's the wizard of. By the way, we got him. We got Cool Hand, Angelo Parker, your guy Danny Magic, Matt Menard. Oh man, this was a shit fest from the cows come home. By the way, I thought this match was actually going to be the main event of the show. This due to his theme to start with Chris Jericho. Outside of his feud with Jon Moxley, can you tell me one feud with Jericho that's been worthwhile, that's had a long build attached to it? Because it seems like every time he gets his new feud, he's adding on another 5 or 4 months to the feud he's already doing. Like, this whole stuff with the Jericho Appreciation Society and Eddie Kingston and Ortiz Santana needs to end soon. I don't even care if they get to pay-per-view. End the feud already. It's not helping anybody. It's so ridiculous. And I've been saying this since January that Chris Jericho needs to be off of television. I've been saying this since January, and we're in May. This group sucks.
Terrible.
It serves no purpose. They're not doing it because they want to be sports entertainers. It's another knockoff from AEW towards WWE. That's
Correct.
all it is.
Absolutely. 110%. But anyways, this was boring. This was stupid. I've had enough of this crap. It was awful. Okay. All right. The House of Black is awesome. The Varsity Blondes are not. And why do they feel that Brian Pillman Jr. needs to speak at all? And to me, I thought they missed their mark. That would have been a great place. And I've said this for a few weeks now. Julia Hart needs to turn and join the House of Black. I think that could be really good, actually. I've been very impressed. I've been very impressed with House of Black ever since they debuted. I think they're terrific. As a group, individually they are what they are, but as a group, I think they're absolutely fantastic. And I would have loved to see Julia Hart with them. But again, do you really believe that these dark competitors in the Varsity Blondes pose any threat to the House of Black? I don't.
No. And I don't know why they're still feuding with the Death Triangle. It's been going on for 5 or 6 months.
Right. That needs to end too. But again, you have a talent-filled roster, and they don't know what to do with it. They're going to put them on TV once every 3 weeks because they have people they've got to rotate out in and out every week, and I have no reason to care about any of them.
You know what AEW needs?
What's
More factions. We got the Acclaim and the Gun Club working with each
Oh my God. Can I retract my comments about the Acclaimed now that they're working with the Gun Club?
Please do.
They were fine on their own, but now that they're working with these morons, it's all going to go to shit. I officially retract my comments about the Acclaimed. Oh God, that was awful. Okay, here's another thing, Josh. Here's another thing. Tony Khan touted Dante Martin and Ray Phoenix as a dream match. How is that a dream match? It's a dream match if you like trampoline spot fest backyard indie wrestling, then maybe. But how is that a dream match on a nationally televised program? A program that they want to be competitive in the professional wrestling market. Here's your dream match: Dante Martin and Ray Phoenix. And Ray Phoenix didn't even get an introduction. They just said after the House of Black segment, oh, by the way, yeah, Ray Phoenix. And this is your build for your dream match. Like, give me a fucking break. Ugh.
We're not watching a television show. We're watching a indie show on television with no format attached to it.
Oh my God.
Or semblance of a format or continuity, because as far as the whole dream match stuff is concerned, take little to no stocks in the stuff that comes out of Tony Khan's mouth, because it's just grade A homogenized bullshit. And it's just, you're doing damage to your performers that you don't need to by opening your mouth that way.
Right.
The fifth match on a 6-match card that was just something I could have saw on Rampage or or Dark or Elevation. Mm-hmm. This fifth match, okay, here's the thing. If this was such a dream match, why wasn't this the main event then?
Correct. Instead of an ROH show. You didn't even have your own promotion as the main event of your show.
Yeah. Let's get to that. We keep talking about Ring of Honor and all the stuff with the Forbidden Door. Okay, it's cool that you got Bobby Cruz. No problem with that. I'm a big fan of Bobby Cruz. But why, if you're going to do ROH, right, why don't you have the referee have a Ring of Honor logo
right
on his t-shirt? I'm not saying you have to change the ring, because that'd probably take a while. I'm not going to get all crazy about that. But
sure.
You can't change the lighting of the stage to Ring of Honor. Like, if it's all about Ring of Honor, you want us to take it seriously, go all in with it.
Right.
Paul Turner was a referee in Ring of Honor before he went into AEW. So you could have a Paul Turner come out with the Ring of Honor referee shirt on.
Sure. And
it's like little things like that. But no, we have to rush out a 10-minute match with these ladies for a title unification match. And it was just there.
That was a big problem too, Josh. Like, they gave this main event unification match 10 minutes with 2 top talents. Like, how am I supposed to take that serious? The crowd didn't care. Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, and then they went to picture 90 seconds into it.
Right. Like, and again, I will say I'm surprised, because I figured the marks of that crowd would know who Deonna Purrazzo and Mercedes Martinez are. You know, the marquee, like, the stupid ass, again, me and my friend Mark, we're going to stop watching, you know, that type of crowd. I figured they would know who they were. They were dead. So, which I was surprised about, but again, Booker of the Year, pal. Oh God. This is, okay. 2 other things I want to talk about real quick, Josh, man, Darby Allin, boy, did he sell me on his match with Jeff Hardy. Oh wait, he sounded bored as hell. It's fine. Then the other thing is, and of course we're going to get a Joker for the Owen Hart tournament.
It's gonna be pockets, I'm telling you.
Oh God. Yeah.
Pockets. The big return of Orange Cassidy in the ring.
And of course the crowd's gonna go batshit crazy, because they're lemmings, they're sheep. They have been sold a bill of goods.
I'm surprised Danhausen's not in the tournament.
Oh my God.
Oh man!
Right.
Hey! At least he'll be in the Casino Battle Royal at Double or Nothing, right? One thing's for certain: Hook is gonna win that Casino Battle Royal. That's definitely gonna
Hook,
happen.
who we have not seen on Dynamite maybe once, but once.
Well, you can see him this Friday at Rampage. Didn't you hear? It's gonna be at 5:30 Eastern Standard Time. Did you hear that?
Yeah, I'm guessing that's for the NHL playoffs.
Yes.
So they're for the NHL stuff. But anything else, Josh? I'm kind of over this. FTW championship match next week. Woohoo!
Yeah, don't
I,
get about that.
I don't care either. So
No, well, the thing I want to talk about again is like more and more these shows feel like copy and paste. I feel like it's like sometimes you'll see websites they'll copy and paste stuff from Meltzer. You
right.
can tell the people who actually take time in writing out their articles like you do.
Yep.
But there's a lot of people also in this industry that just copy each other with like result pieces. Like I see my transcripts pop up on random sites that I don't work for. Like what's up with that?
They at least give you credit.
No, of course not. They're probably making money off of it too, which is the thing that pisses me off the most. But still, like you've got these copy and paste formats for Dynamite each week. It's not getting me more excited for Double or Nothing. They're trying to jam so many different things that you can't catch up with what the overall direction of the company is. Should I be focusing on Double or Nothing or the Forbidden Door? Like, what's taking more precedent?
I think for Tony Khan, it's the Forbidden Door. He cares more about that than he cares about his own pay-per-view.
Yeah, and Double or Nothing's gonna be in Vegas. You need to do something to sell out the crowd. Like I don't know how ticket sales are out there yet. I don't look into that info,
No,
but
I hope it's going to be a good show. I think on paper it has potential to be a good show. With I'm looking forward to seeing Serena Deeb and Thunder Rosa. I think that's actually going to be a really good match.
yeah, that'll be a good match.
I'm looking forward to that. What else has been announced? MJF and Wardlow will probably get their match, so we'll end that feud. That'll be good.
Young Bucks and Hardy Boys.
I don't care.
That's happening.
You know it's going to be touted as a dream match.
Of course.
Like, the two greatest tag teams of all time finally
Probably a
going.
ladder match too.
I've had enough of this. Anything else, Josh?
No, Bert Carr, I'll let you play this clip here because on that note, this is what the hell has been wrong with AEW.
Let's get us out of here. If it's Danhausen, I'm going to lose my shit.
You got the clip?
Oh, you want me to play it? Oh, sorry. Okay, I thought you had it. Sorry, let me get us out of here. Sorry, I thought you were getting us out of here. Hang on, just a minute. I'll get you 5 points back in your performance evaluation because I screwed this up. All right, let's get out of here. This has been What the Hell is Wrong with AEW. Hey, Jericho the Wizard can work with Danhausen the Cursor. I think the only wizard Jericho is good at is the wizard from the Bud Light commercials that turns everything into Bud Light.
I'm telling you right now, I think we may have to take a hiatus from that segment if Jericho ever has a program or a match with Danhausen. I'm telling you right now. I don't think I'll be able to contain myself to do a segment that week if that ever happens on my television screen. Which I know is probably going to happen too.
Of course it is. Of course it is. Yeah. Okay.
All right, folks. This has been a fun birthday week edition of the Hoots podcast. Before we head out, I think it's time for Joshie's performance evaluation.
Yes. Josh, I give you an A- for your performance evaluation. I thought you did very well. I didn't appreciate you coming on and giving me a hard time at the beginning of the show. So you got 5 points for that, but I gave you a little bit back because I forgot to play the exit clip. I give you an A-, so not bad, but you still have some work to do, my friend. I want to see it better next week.
All right. Duly noted.
Yeah, thank you. I'll be back. Hey, I'll be back next week. So just saying.
Yep. Bert Carter and I will be here next week to review WrestleMania Backlash.
Yep.
The week after that, which will be the 19th.
Yes.
May 19th, which also has some wrestling history, which maybe I should bring up why. But the May 19th episode, I'll be taking off. So you guys may get a Good Brothers edition of the Hoots podcast where you may get to see Bert Carter, see who else we get line up and do that show with Bert Carter. But Bert Carter, like he said, his semester is coming to a conclusion very soon. And we'll get more Brother Carter as the summertime goes here on the Hoots podcast.
Woohoo! Glad to be back as always, my brother. Should be fun.
Yes, today was a blast as always. Make sure to check out Brother Carter's work at DerekStoughton.com first and foremost.
Thank you.
Check out his work at WrestlingRumors.net. You can follow me on Twitter at Derek Stoughton. I'm at Twitter and Instagram at Josh Lopez Media. Make sure to go ahead.
Follow me on Instagram at Jericho06 as well.
Yes. Jericho with a D.
Yes.
Also, don't forget to bookmark ProWrestlingTranscriptions.com if you want to see my wrestling transcripts. Appreciate that. It really means a lot to me. And also, make sure to leave us a 4 or 5 star review and rating on Apple Podcasts if you guys use Apple Podcasts. And make sure you subscribe to the show. It comes to you free of charge. We're not on Patreon. We're not behind a paywall. This show comes to you free of charge. We speak from the heart. And I know there's a lot of things going on around the world today and a lot of the scuttlebutt about the abortion trial and stuff like that. And I had a little song in the intro for the audio version of the podcast this week that will shed a light on that. And I just want to let you guys know that nobody has the right to dictate what you do with your life.
That's right.
I say that for a reason. That also applies to women as well. Nobody has the right to say what you guys should do with your own bodies or anything like that.
Absolutely.
I believe that 100% is true. And I just want you guys to have a clear head, have a wonderful weekend, have a wonderful Mother's Day weekend as well. I hope you guys enjoy Backlash as well. And there's a lot of things. Wrestling is getting hot towards the summer, and we got a lot of big stadium shows coming up this summer as well, which should be pretty cool. But we'll be here to document it right here on the Hoots Podcast for episode 308. So for Brother Carter, I'm Joshie. This has been episode 308. Happy Cinco de Mayo. We'll talk to you all next week. Yes, sir.
I put a curse on you as the wizard. Woo!